Drew Adams won the Horizon Award. He lost his first moto of the week. Didn't get a good gate pick. And do you want to start now about the gate picks, or do you want me to wait?
Yeah, let's get into it, because those things are tough, man. That is such a crapshoot.
It's inexcusable for how important this race is now. This isn't just a summer race that's for fun. This isn't just a race that families go to anymore to have a vacation. This is serious business. Money is on the line, and you show up and draw your first gate pick. And, the start is also shorter than it used to be, and it's a little different than what it used to be, where you could kind of maybe pin it in your day, Paul, and get the start from the outside. Well, they've shortened it up. It's tougher than ever. And they just cannot go – they cannot continue with the spoons. I know there was an OEM meeting. I heard 2 OEM people that were in charge of the OEM amateur programs once again brought this up to MX Sports. MX Sports is really held firm with this. This is what they want it to be. This is how it started. But it's beyond time. And now some of the pushbacks from MX Sports would be like, look, we don't want to go on qualifying times because Monday's a practice, and we don't want everybody to get hurt. And we want people to learn the track at their own. And I understand that, and it makes perfect sense. However, there are these things called regionals where you have the results from there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this has absolutely evolved and needs to be a change. And I can take it 2 different ways. The racer side in me, it is not fair. For sure it's not. It's just it is leaving so much to chance. You put so much into this race and so much preparation. And then say you're an early morning moto and you pull spoon 42, you could be Jet Lawrence against a bunch of these kids. And it's still going to be hard because the track is a highway. It's smooth. It's muddy. It's hard to make passes when you're way in the back. And I think, it needs to evolve. But I think I'll put my safety hat on for the other reason. I think it's extremely dangerous too. When you have a guy that is going there to win and you have a guy that is just happy to be there, those are 2 completely different levels within the same class, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And that guy who has never been there before can draw 1, and the guy who is going for a title in that class can draw 42. And then you mix all the skill levels in between, and you have guys coming from the outside, the inside. I think it creates a very dangerous first turn. And Loretta's first turn isn't the most safest on the planet, right? It's still to the right. So it's, you have to worry about using your brake pedal. But I would almost guarantee that there is more pileups in Moto 1 at Loretta's than there is in Motos 2 and 3. So, like you suggested, Steve, about the regionals, I think it could be as simple as if you won your regional, you get to pick from the first 10 gate positions, right? Like ping pong balls 1 through 10 are for the regional winners, or however many regions there are.
Say there's 7 or 8,
right. Something like that. Okay, so say there's 8 regions. The 8 region winners pick 1 through 8. The guys who got second pick 2 through 15, whatever that math is. But I believe something needs to change because the ping pong ball stuff is tough. And I've done it before too. I've been there when I feel like I could have been on the podium and I pulled 40 and it was first moto in the morning and you ride wide open and you don't pass nobody. It's just a flat track.
Yeah, it's exactly right. You nailed it as well. Like half the classes are there for the family vacation and half are there to parlay this Loretta's thing into a contract. And you look at the and I had a longtime Loretta's guy tell me there's almost always pileups from people trying to sweep in that they're on the outside. And so it's beyond time. I don't know what MX Sports is doing. And even if you didn't want to do the whole rigmarole with 8 regions and the winners get 1 to 8, then you just simply rotate the regions throughout the years. And you at least know if you won your regional, the worst pick you're going to do is 8th. Just if you don't want to bother with the, hey, all the regionals draw now and all the second place guys draw now, just know that you're going to go 1 to 8, and then the second place guy from the 8th region will have 16th pick. Just do that, and then the next year rotate which region goes first. It seems very easy. It seems very obvious, and I don't know why they're not doing it, but we hope something will change. Like I said, I know 2 OEM people who were in the meetings with MX Sports, and they said, "Can we do something about this? Can we change this?" So they're trying to push on that.
Yeah, I think absolutely it's time for something to be done, and I hate to bring up this example, but I think it needs to be brought up. And I had a a guy that not a kid, a guy that I know that died in the first turn at Loretta Lynn's, and it was the first moto. And again, I think that is part of just mixing up all these different skills within the same class with this random gate pick. It's too heavy of an event to do that. And again, I didn't want to bring up that example, but it's a real thing that happened. So I think that enough should be reason to review what's going on down there with gate picks.
Well said. So, okay, back to Drew Adams, Paul, and he lost his first moto of the week, won the rest of them, and on Wednesday when I was there, he was third behind Olaf and Long, a couple of Blue Crew riders, and he fell, dropped back to fifth or sixth, and got on his horse, dude, and was catching those guys. Now, there was a little bit of tangle up when I think Long went down and Olaf ran into him. Drew got the lead, but it was really impressive moto. Horizon Award winner, and, Drew Adams, his trajectory is high these days. Futures winner, we know all that. Probably going to ride some nationals for Mitch here as an amateur before the end of the year.
Yeah, I think we will get to see Drew at like maybe the last national on a PC bike, and he has absolutely earned it this year. I mean, he's won everywhere he's gone. He's really kind of turned the corner and become the guy that I think a lot of people in the industry pegged him to be a bunch of years ago, because he's so young and so advanced for his age. He's a redhead. He's, and now he's down there training at the Lawrence compound and kind of in a really good crew with a bunch of really good, smart people around him. And he has excelled this year. So, but now he's also on the same OEM that has a completely full pro team. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what happens next year with Drew, if he's just going to be kind of waiting in the wings. When we'll see him become a true professional. I think that'll happen at some point next year, though. Yeah,
Mitch told me futures next year a few weeks ago. And then maybe start at Paula, or depending on injuries, or who knows.
I would say depending on injuries. Yeah.
At this point, I don't know if he needs to go back to the ranch again. I don't. Yeah.
I just don't think you can. Like, when you win the Horizon Award, I just think you can't go back. Like, It's just it's time to move on.
So Drew won Open Pro Sport, and then another one, and I
250 Pro Sport.
250 Pro Sport. Avery Long, Liam Olaf. I guess maybe Cole Davies, who's the new signing by Star, started off really strong with a moto win, and then kind of couldn't do it from there. Not a great start for Cole Davies if you want to look down at the disappointments category, but he just got on the bike.
Yeah, I guess so. And I mean, we've seen more out of Cole so far inside stadiums than we have outside. So I think he has some work to do on his outside game a little bit. And that moto he did win was a first moto, which could be a lot of gate pick stuff too. So yeah, I would say an underwhelming week for Cole for sure. But we've seen that he's incredible in Supercross. So that's obviously very important too. Yeah,
182 for Cole Davies at 250 Pro Sport. Avery Long was really good. I've heard of him, obviously. Liam Olaf, I know Joe well. I've ridden with Liam a ton at the SoCal stuff before they moved, so I know a lot about that. But I would say Avery Long for me, Paul. Heard of him, but he was maybe the kid that I'm like, oh hey, like this kid's legit. Do you agree, or is there something else?
No, he's good. He's good, and he's been kind of the 2-3 guy for a long time. He's already won a couple titles at Loretta's, I believe, in other classes, but he's always been part of that Yamaha program for a long time now. And I don't know a ton about him, so I guess I would be speculating, but I think he could end up being a fairly decent professional, because he's kind of really been digging for a number of years now, but he's always been right below that kind of standout guy.
What else caught your eye for amateur riders?
Well, a story, I guess, that really caught my eye and hit my heart was what happened with that 50 rider at the ranch. That, he went into the final moto with 2 moto wins, and his bike wouldn't start, and then they finally got it going, and he caught all the way up, and then he crashed again and lost a spot, and he ended up second in the title. So that, having been at Loretta's and gone through some of the, that place breaks hearts and makes dreams come true all at the same time. So I thought that was a really cool story.
So what ended up going on with that? He made it all the way back up to 5th or something?
Yeah, I believe he made it to 5th and then fell in the sand sweeper on the very last lap and went back to 6th. I didn't go look at his points to see if that 5th was a difference between a title or not. I didn't go look at that, but I just thought it was yeah, just a hell of a story.
Okay, and then so Drew wins the Horizon Award winner, and then Caden Dudney won the Amateur Rider of the Year, and Owen Colville won Youth Rider of the Year.
Yeah, and I don't know a ton about Owen Colville, but Caden Dudney is a Team Green guy, obviously, and I think Ryan Holiday thinks really highly of him. He is. I know a lot of other people in the industry think he is a special rider as well. I have no idea about his Supercross skills. I don't think he's been on a Supercross track much, but he has tremendous speed. He's very, very fit. A lot of people think he's going to be something to come for sure.
How old would he be? Pretty young still?
I don't know, but I would guess 16 to 17, somewhere in that range. Yeah.
All right. Super Mini classes, Super Mini 12 to 15, run by Grant McDonald. Aiden Zingg, who's you're very familiar with the parents and the kid himself, got second. And then the other Super Mini class, heartbreak for Vince Way, who was in position to win it in the last moto, and he had a bike problem and dropped back to ninth. And then Zingg won that one with a 1-3-1. So, I mean, look, you know Nick Way and Vince very well as much as anybody, and then you also know the Zings as well, so you're probably sitting there, you were on the fence there.
Yeah, that's tough, right? I actually met the Zings through the Ways, and they're both families are tremendous people. We're close with both of them, right? Like my son hangs out with both of their kids and their families, so I wish the best of both of those guys, but it was incredibly special for me to see kind of Aiden Zingg turn the corner and have the week that he had, because that was, he's been in Vince's shadow for a long time now, and he rode incredible, and he's like I said, a really, really good kid, an even better dad, and his dad has kind of become a bit of a father figure to me since my dad passed, and I'm really close with those guys. So it was so cool to see Aiden have the week that he had. I mean, he won 4 motos. He came from the back to win motos. He just had a breakout week, and the kid is getting so much attention now, and Bob's phone is blowing up with people interested in Aiden Zingg. So was this a step up and a little unexpected what he did? Yeah, I mean, this is a kid that's never been even top 5 in a moto at Loretta's his entire life. Okay. So he's just really turned a corner. He kind of really started to buckle down. I mean, he hit puberty for one. His voice is deeper than it's ever been, and he kind of just buckled down and started working on diet and training more. His dad moved them out to Hemet a couple years ago. He was living in a track home neighborhood, across the street from me for a long time, and wanted to move Aiden out there so they can have some land. Their daughter, is kind of into training horses, so she kind of can do that there. And Bob moved his business onto the property as well, so he can be home more. So, but the most important thing is Aiden has a Supercross track in his front yard, and he's been kind of playing around on that for a while. So they're all in, but they're all in the best way that they can be. Like, they're not mortgaging their house by any means, but they're racers, right? They're not training facility people. And I think that is a key to Aiden's success. And one of the things that I've continued to tell Bob to continue to keep doing is just keep chasing races and getting gate drops and working on your racecraft. And it was just more than special to me to see Aiden have the week that he had.
Yeah, and flipping it up to Vince, crashed out of the first moto of one of the Super Mini classes. By the way, why do we have 2 Super Mini classes with 1 year difference? Can you tell me?
I can't tell you. Okay. I have lost the evolution of the classes at Loretta Lynn's. I think there's refinements everywhere, but I hate to say this, but I think a lot of class dictation is influenced by regional turnout. Put it that way.
All right. So Vince Way, like we said, he was in position to win his overall, but then the bike problems. I was bugging Nick on the text, and he wasn't really having it. He didn't want to hear any humor from me. But bummer for Vince. Not a good week for him in the 2 Super Mini classes. And I guess now he's done with Super Mini. Now Vince will move up to 250s now, apparently.
Yeah, most of these kids, like, Super Mini is their last. Loretta's is their last race on a mini bike. They're going to all move on and get on 125s or 250s from here. So, I'm sure Vince was looking to go out on top with his last mini bike race, but. Yeah, I think that first crash really took the wind out of his sails all week.
Yeah, I think it set him back all week for sure. Vet classes, by the way, renthal.com. Please check out the new flat pedals if you mountain bike a lot. Renthal's got some flats that are pretty damn cool and really look really nice. So please check that out. And stems and bars, aluminum bars, carbon bars, renthal.com. And, of course, Red Bull KTM and Honda and Jet Lawrence and Jason Anderson and all these guys using Renthal. So vet classes, I was really impressed. So our guy, Jacob Hayes, we're friends with him. I was really impressed with Jacob in the fact that he was leading Moto 1 in plus 25 and got passed and dropped by Heath Harrison and Martinez in the first moto. And, it was probably early in the day and the track wasn't that rough and ish. And it's hard to rebound from that. And our guy Jacob did that. He was joking with me about like, hey man, you got any lines? You got any help? And I'm like, hey man, 3-1-1 does it. And that's exactly what he did. Like you can, no matter what you do, if you go 3-1-1, you can win it. And so for Hayes to rebound from getting caught and passed in Moto 1 to beat Martinez and Heath Harrison is pretty impressive. Good job, Jacob Hayes.
Yeah, I agree. Very impressive. I mean, I texted him after that first moto because I thought he rode great. I thought he had a couple really cool lines, and he's like, yeah, I tightened up. I felt like shit after a while. So very impressive to come back and win both motos. And I missed watching that final third moto on the broadcast, but there was a 3-way tie. Basically, it was between those three guys, and he rose to the occasion, got it done. So I think that's awesome for Jacob. No doubt, the crew that he runs around with today was a help for sure in getting him prepared, right? He sees how some of the best guys in the world are preparing for things, and I'm sure he applied a lot of the same practices that those guys use to be the best he could be. Yeah,
just hard to do, as you know, as a racer, to get caught and passed and dropped and then rebound. So good job.
Yep.
Brandon Haas, 1+30 again. Club MX
he's
owner.
Good, man.
Yeah, he's really good. Yeah,
and he was fourth in plus 25, 4.44.
Yeah.
So he's just clearly like very fast and very good shape. Like that guy is solid as hell.
Yeah, I was impressed 2 years ago when he won. I was like, holy shit! Like I know Brandon's a good rider and everything else, but like he cruised with each win in the plus 30 again. So good job for him. The race of the week, without a doubt, the plus 40 class. Andrew Short 1-2-1, Brownie 2-1-2. Now, I mean, I had my mountain bike gear on and was leaving the house to go mountain bike and was like, I want to watch this moto. And so I was sitting there watching it online, and then I almost got up and left because I'm like, it's over. Like Brownie's got this. And dude, Shorty was about 7 seconds back, and then he was 3 something on the last lap, and he made that up on the last lap. He sent the sand. Mike Brown screwed up the last left-hander a little bit, and Shorty got him in the closest finish maybe ever at Loretta's. And Shorty won. And what a last lap for Andrew Short. Absolutely amazing ride. That was the race of the week.
Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, I watched kind of the recap of that race, and I'm like, it's a 2-lap card. He's not even in touch.
No.
Like, how does he win this race? Like, because I had heard about the results before I watched it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I was like, how the hell does he win this race? Like, it's ain't happening. And yeah, he took a big chunk out on the 2-lap card and then took a real big chunk up on the last lap. And then Mike landed and looked like a little hole or something and got sideways. And that was just enough to give Andrew Shorty the victory. And that was unbelievable, which was and pretty cool to see, because I honestly think Shorty was kind of knocked in the face by Loretta's.
No,
right? Like, I think
you're absolutely right. Sorry to interrupt you. He told me that he went to Minio's and was like, Brown's not that good. Like, I got this.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, he was like, no offense. And he should. Shorty's 13 years younger or something, 12 years younger than Mike Brown, right?
Yeah.
And he beat Gavin Towers at the Texas race, last year, right? So, not being arrogant, but Shorty said, he was like, I got this. And then, dude, the heat and Mike Brown in Tennessee got to him,
Yeah, absolutely. For one, Brownie's an animal at that track. He rides it so good. It's like this point, shoot, hop around type track, and it's not a high speed track. So he has it figured out. He rides great there, and he's very, very fit. Andrew Short is all those things too. But I think the part that Andrew probably underestimated was just like the work to keep up with your schedule there, being a vet rider and doing it kind of on your own. Like, if you don't have a nice like trailer with an AC that you can get out of the heat, or have somebody helping you wash bikes, like, you go race twice on Tuesday and wash your bike twice, and it's 100 degrees out, you're cooked. Like, you're done. You have nothing left for like the next few days. And I think Shorty kind of learned a lot of that, and he was kind of doing his own thing. And I think that was one of maybe the hardest parts for him, is that he didn't really have a whole lot of help. So it was really impressive to see him bounce back at the end of the week, get that win. I mean, I'll bring it up. I hated the way Mike reacted after that. I thought it was childish.
Yeah, I agree.
Shouldn't have done that at all. He should have went and shook Andrew Short's hand. I didn't love that. But
for people who don't know, Mike just took off. Didn't go to impound, which I guess you have to apparently. Didn't go to impound. Didn't just went right back to the truck. And obviously, look, it's a heartbreak. But Mike Brown has 15 titles at Loretta's. He's not getting any extra money. There's not really that much on the line here for Mike Brown to at least acknowledge Andrew Short's great ride. Like, yeah, I'm with you. I didn't like it either. Yeah. Brownie's a friend of mine. I would tell him that to his face, that I
would too.
He should have stopped, And
we know he's a hothead, and I am too. Like, I've been mad plenty of times before, but I think in that situation you just cannot do that. That was very disrespectful to Andrew, I thought.
Yeah, I agree. And Shorty, by the way, he also raced Open Pro Sport 11-14-11. So, that was catching up to him. Jacob Hayes raced it 15-22-6. This is what I was saying at the top, where the old guys, Cole Martinez, Heath Harrison, Shorty, Jacob Hayes, they didn't have as good a week as a few years ago. And maybe, I think you're right, Paul. I think the heat, probably
the heat does that.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you don't have somebody helping you and you have to deal with that heat and your bike work, the stuff, it really kills you.
Shorty won, great race. And, dude, the leap into the sand on the last lap, dude, crazy. Our buddy Chris Kiefer, for the third year in a row, told me to tell him to not do this race next year. So,